All right, we're back at the Claiborne High School with Coach Lee. We're going to talk about the last game. It was a heartbreaker of all heartbreakers against Chuckey-Doak. So, what's your feelings about the game?
Man, we came out really slow. First half execution was not where it needed to be. We had our defense on the field first, and Coach West lit into them. Nobody was doing the run fits. Nobody was playing downhill. They get about 4 or 5 good plays on us. And I think that first drive they had maybe 24 rushing yards. They finished the game with 39 rushing yards, so they fixed their problem. Pass responsibility is a little bit different, but I was proud of the way the boys fought. You just got silly mistakes here and there. It makes all the difference.
Okay, how did you attribute that slow start to?
I don't know. The kids were focused. I mean, they were extremely focused. We come out. There was a couple different things we tried to change up. Nothing major. But I mean, we knew they did exactly what we thought they were going to do. We just weren't executing on film. It just people were missing assignments, bad steps, not communicating, especially in our secondary. Even though we've talked through, you got your zone, but they knew where they messed up. It's just I don't know. We came out flat. It's hard to sit there. You don't want to sit here and yell at them and motivate them and fire them up, but at the same time, they got to find something inside that motivates them.
I didn't count it after the game, but during the game, I noticed you had way more plays than they had. Mm-hmm. I mean, your offense was doing exactly what it needed to do. I mean, it passed when it needed to. It ran when it needed to. It just couldn't get it in the end zone.
Yeah.
Talk about that a little bit. And what is it? Something they did?
I think. I guess at some point I want to start kicking field goals before the half. Because we get down in the red zone. I mean, we're within 20 yards, and I'm still trying to throw it. Like we're probably gonna start kicking field goals from here on, just to get any kind of points moving out. That was my fault. I'll take blame on that. But we were executing, like we were getting 4 or 5 yards of carry, like we wanted it. Whenever we threw the football to Chris Ford or Cade Williams, they caught it. They were being extremely reliable. Everybody was doing their job for the most part. It's just we've got to finish those drives. One drive we were going down. Forward progress stopped, and they let the kid rip the ball out of Aiden's hands. But a couple plays later, we got the ball back. Just kind of derailed us a little bit. Still scored, but it's just those small things. Like we got to finish drives. I think we had close to maybe 30 more offensive plays than they did. I mean, it was a close number to that. But they came out slinging the football, and we weren't disciplined enough in the back end.
Yeah, you have to be proud of how the offense just rolled. Got to get it in the end zone, though.
Yeah.
Talk about your defense and overall. I thought they did excellent. We had everybody stepping up. Mm-hmm. I mean, you couldn't really pick out 1 or 2 people. I mean, it was names that we've not heard before making tackles, and I thought that was good. What's your opinion?
Yeah, they did, the kids did a really good job. They fought well, and really whenever Chuckey-Doak was throwing the ball, they were putting our kids in a tough spot. They were, and it's hard to play 2 guys at once. Owen Stone knows that. But it's like this season's kind of been a tale of 2 halves. Start the year we can't stop the run. And now, Coach West has made great adjustments, and Coach Dake's got the linebackers going. Coach Pritchard's got the D-line going. They rushed for 39 yards all game. And, Johnson County, they had a couple big runs, but I don't think they got over 65, 70 yards rushing. So, we've got to be disciplined in the back end. And, Johnson County, we shot ourselves in the foot with our penalties, turnovers, botched snaps, fumbles. And this one, it was just got to keep course. I tell the boys, we don't have, Joe Milton or Lamar Jackson back there that can, change the game in one snap. I was like, we got good athletes, we do, but at the same time, like high school football, you got to be disciplined and execute.
Let's talk about some of the linemen who stepped up. Defensive linemen, we had, I seen Corbin Whitaker making plays in the backfield.
Yeah.
A couple others, but Owen Stone didn't have to make every tackle.
That's true. Yeah, we've gotten to that point where Owen Stone doesn't have to save us anymore. But no, we had a lot of kids step up. Eli Keck, he's got a nagging ankle injury, so he's not able to move as well as he was. So Pierce Tong come in, had a couple pretty good reps.
Yes, he did.
Fit in. Trey Davis is doing a really good job rotating in on the D line. The kids that they're starting to step up and realize hey, we're looking to them. Like we need these kids to step up. Like Noah Ott played really well. And like we need to get more of a rotation going for those guys because it's tough going both ways. And Stanton's starting to play a little bit of defensive end. And
yes,
people's like we were worried he wasn't going to be able to keep contained, but he can move pretty well. And he's a big body.
He actually did move him.
He did.
Yes.
Got him a fumble recovery. So
yes.
He said nobody cheered him on, but we didn't see him because I was like, you were laying on the ground, and you hand up and just give the ball to the ref. I was like, you got to celebrate or something. But no, they're doing a really, really good job. And Braxton Stubblefield's playing really good linebacker for us. And we moved Aiden back there just because we needed somebody else to help flow, and Aiden's doing a phenomenal job. So they've all stepped up.
A little different looking defense. It was good to see.
Yeah.
Was there anything that you would do different? Well, I've got to ask you this. I mean, you know what's coming. We talked about it last night, as a matter of fact. The thing is, you're supposed to go for 2 on the road in a tight game. If you're tied, or going to be tied. And you chose to do that, and a lot of the home team fans, myself included, was questioning it. But when I look back on it, it was probably the right thing to do. But it was still, I don't know if your team being a younger team would have benefited more if you'd have kicked the extra point.
Right, yeah.
So what's your opinions?
I agree. I kind of, after we didn't get it, I kind of shot myself in the foot. I was like, it's going to come back to hurt us. Like Coach West, I looked at him. I was like, I'm sorry. I said I shouldn't have went for it. He said, no. He's like, we're still in this game. He's like, it doesn't matter.
Yeah,
he's like, it's not, doesn't mean anything yet. I'm like, all right. I was like, he helps calm me a little bit. He's very calm.
But then a few plays later, you get a
Noah Burke. So they
block
went
of a field goal.
They went down and scored, and he timed it perfect. I mean, their coach was over there.
One of the best plays I've seen in a long time.
Their coach was over there screaming, saying he was offsides. I think he timed it well.
No, he timed it well.
Personally, but
he timed it well.
He's found, Noah Burke's found his place. I think he had a lot of pressure on him at quarterback, and it is a lot. It's tough for a young kid to come in, especially when they're playing quarterback before. And he helped us get through, for the first couple of games, but. Yeah,
I have little doubts myself if he'll show back up.
Oh, he'll show back
in the
up.
backfield.
I ain't worried about him. We're excited about him.
Yeah, it's hard as a freshman though. Okay, and you've got a monumental task Friday. We want to talk about it.
I mean, kids are going to play whoever it is. They don't care. They'll line up against anybody. So it didn't matter if we would surprise them with UT. They'd probably be elated about it, which I would be too. Going up there, but like they don't care who it is. They're still begging to play. So we're good.
You didn't make this game on the schedule. You didn't schedule it. How do you deal with that as far as parents coming to you or kids coming to you and saying, "Why are we playing these guys?"
Yeah, I mean, like
DB is.
They're good. They're a much bigger school than us, but they like the realignment. The flooding that happened knocked a bunch of schools down to 1A, some down to 2A. So regions, those smaller team regions, really they're all in 1A now. There's 8 team regions. So the teams that we had lined up or they had lined up to agree to play.
Yeah.
Well, if you only have 2 non-conference games, it's hard to fit in. When the state gives you those 8 games, they schedule them for you. And then, you only have 2 weeks that you can, really 3 weeks with your bye week. It's just late to the game pretty much. Yeah. So, but yeah, it doesn't matter what it's for. We're just it's another game for us to play. So,
talk about them. What do they do well besides everything?
Yeah, I mean, they've got I think they've got close to 120 kids on their team. They've got options. It's probably close to 1,000 kids per grade level, but when they're making cuts, we're trying to get recruiting the hallways, trying to fill the pads up, we're trying to fill our helmets up. We want as many kids out playing. But our kids are gonna go fight. They don't care. My upperclassmen love those kids, those seniors. It didn't matter. They want to play 10 games. They want to play 11 games.
Yeah.
So regardless of who it is, they're ready to go.
Talk about their offense a little bit.
Yeah, they got a pretty good quarterback. He's skilled. He's quick. fast. They're pretty big up front. You know, they can pull guard and tackles pretty well. Just about everything you can probably think of, they can probably do it. So it's it's exciting to play. You know, it's a big environment. Excuse me, but they do a lot of stuff well.
Defenses.
Yeah, they do a pretty good job. They run a 3-4 kind of modified front. Sorry, but they'll shift right before the snap. I mean, like they're athletic up front. They play downhill, discipline in the back end. So it's that's a tall task.
Okay, what's a successful game for you guys? Going up there, traveling so far, and then playing a good team like that. What? I mean, a win is probably less likely than just what do you want to see?
Yeah.
Just competition?
Yeah, fight for 4 quarters. I mean, even if we get to the point where you rotate some kids in, like we want to see them execute do your job the best you can. Like, as long as if you make a mistake, go 100 miles an hour, but don't we shouldn't be having mental mistakes at this point in the season. At this point, it's just physical and speed and athleticism and like how much can you match it, pretty much.
Going further after this game this week, where you think the football team will be at the end of the season compared to what they were at the first of the season?
Going back watching the first couple of games, they were still trying to figure things out. It's all new. Doesn't matter how much you rep it in the spring and the summer. Yeah. Once you put the pads on and the lights come on, kids kind of a 16, 17-year-old boy is going to do what he thinks is right. And we just preach at him like, do what we ask you to do. Like just trust us, do what we ask you to do, and just execute it. And when things are clicking really well, it looks good. And I wish we can go back in week 1 and start over. And play Granger again because I that would be a different ball game. We were making so many mistakes that game, it wasn't even funny. But now the kids understand it ought to make you don't want to be as frustrated like that, but it's a completely new system for the kids. Mm-hmm. It's similar to what they a little bit what Coach Corey did last year, but at the same time it's new. New faces, new plays, and but where we are now, I'm super proud of how far they've come. We've compete with Johnson County, compete with Chuckey-Doak, 2 games they probably should have won, but small errors here and there like that. Like they realize we got to execute at a high level. For 4 quarters.
Let's switch it over to the coaching staff. What have you guys learned?
Yeah, we're learning each other. We're I've got a great group of guys that help me. Like I'm so excited to go coach with them every day. Our discussions aren't just football time. Like we'll sit there and we'll talk. I can talk to those guys forever. Some of the best friends I've got. But we're learning. We're logistically what we need to do better, how practice probably needs to be formulated. We're already starting to thinking, to summer or in the spring and winter off season. We're already starting to make plans, which Coach West coaches basketball, but he said he'll be as present as possible. I coach track, so we're a little spread thin, but we're either going to have very strong track stars next year or that I don't know.
Let's go to this question. Will you be better from facing these good teams like DB, or can it make you backslide a little bit?
I think it can. I think you make of it what it can be. I think we've seen some very good teams this year. First couple weeks. Happy Valley's top of their region.
Powerful
Volunteers went from ranked 300 to almost top 120 in the state. They're top 25, top 20, or no, like top 15 in 4A. The kids they fought. We had volunteer 30-0 at halftime. We were making mistakes then that I feel like if we weren't making now or like we weren't making then, we would be in a better situation.
Do they take anything from those games?
Yeah. They see,
that's my question.
Yeah, we can play those teams. You can play with them. They bleed like you. They put their pants on the same way you do. They may just do a little bit quicker. Or they may wear sizes. 15 sizes bigger than you.
Like Coach Shaq used to say.
Yeah.
They can only beat you. They can't eat you.
Exactly. It's true. But our kids understand that. They're going to fight anybody. It don't matter. They want to they just need to know play 100%. That's all we can ask.
I think Aiden Rorark would be probably the leader on the field that leads by example. Mm-hmm. Who's your leader now this late in the season that comes up and leads by just discussing things with the team, pumping them up?
Yeah.
Who's that guy?
I'd say we got. I'd say it's a combination of all of them. You know, like we when we were picking captains, we were like, it's hard to pinpoint one. So like, we've got Chris Ford, Caden Williams, Eli Keck, Elijah Poore, Caden Levin, and like all those guys together collectively, they do a good job of addressing the team, like keeping everybody's head on straight. Like we don't have any arguing anymore. That's something that we fought at the beginning of the year. There's no more arguing. They're picking each other up, and like it's something that's trickled down all the way through. Like from seniors, juniors, freshmen, sophomores, freshmen. Like everybody's in it together, and like it's good.
That's good to see.
Yeah.
All right, Coach. Last word to you.
Keep supporting these boys. We've got another region game next week. We're gonna go up to Dobbins Bennett this week. Play hard for 4 quarters. And then hopefully come back on fall break and give Unicoi everything we have, and then roll through it.
All right. Thanks, Coach Lee, and best of luck.
Thank you.
We'll see you next time.